Hi everyone. Let us study a story today. It is by O. Henry. Have you heard of O. Henry? Yes, he is a famous, American short story writer. I may call him the most famous American story writer. The specialty of his stories is that there will be a twist at the end of his stories. All stories. See, twist means unexpected ending. Yes, let us see what is the twist that we are going to see in this story. So, his name actually was William Sidney Porter. So, O. Henry is his pen name. So, William Sidney Porter from 1862 to 1910. 1862 to 1910, William Sidney Porter. So famous American social writer wrote his stories, by the pen name O. Henry. And the story that we are going to study today is The Last Leaf. Yes, let us see what is significance of the title, The Last Leaf. To Greenwich Village, which is a section of New York City, many people came who were interested in art. Many people came who were interested in art. Where? To Greenwich Village. They liked the bohemian life of the village and they enjoyed living among so many artists. So they liked the lifestyle of that place. You see, bohemian means unconventional. See, especially in habit of dress, etc. So, not conventional. So, unconventional method of living. People liked, so people began coming in large numbers to Greenwich Village. Okay, the buildings and apartments were often very old and dirty. The buildings were not that new, were very often old and dirty. But this only added to the interest of the place. Shows some, the buildings used to be belonging to some ancient age. So it brought some ancient memories. So people liked those old buildings. So which brought them some old memories too. That is why people liked, and people came in large numbers to Greenwich Village. Okay, at the top of an old 3-story brick house, Sue and Jonesy had their studio as two artists, two girls, Jonesy and Sue. One of them was from the state of Maine, yes, America, and the other from California. They had met in a restaurant of an 8th Street hotel. So, ordinary hotel, they met in a restaurant. Both were artists who had recently come to New York to make their living. Yes, to make a living, they had come to that place. That was in May. It was in the month of May that they came there. In November, a cold, unseen stranger. See, September, October, November. Okay. So, autumn season. The leaves all will fall. It will be snowing. And the trees all will be painted with the snow. As white as snow, the trees all will look like. So, an unseen stranger, whom the doctors called pneumonia. Yes, doctors named him. See, an unknown stranger, you see, unseen stranger, not unknown, unseen stranger made a visit to the city and people called him by name pneumonia. And touching one here and one there with his icy finger, yes, it was snowing always, and with his icy finger he touched one here and one there, means many people were affected with pneumonia. He touched Jonesy. That's our story. Our Jonesy was touched by an unseen stranger pneumonia. As she lay, without moving, scarcely moving on her painted iron bed, looking through the small window. He was lying there, looking through a small window. You see, at the blank wall of the opposite building. See, nearby, so many buildings are there. See, people live in large numbers in each and every room. And opposite building, there was a blank wall. So she was looking outside, you see. Towards the opposite, through the small window at the blank wall of the opposite building. One morning, a busy doctor invited Sue into the hall. So remember, two girls, Johnsy and Sue. They came to New York to make a living. They are artists. And the Johnsy was suffering from a pneumonia. So Sue was called by the doctor to tell something very serious. She has about 1 chance in 10 to live. Her chance of surviving is 1 by 10. Isn't it so? Yes. He said as he shook down the mercury in his clinical thermometer, checking the fever thermometer. Okay. As he shook the thermometer, casually he said her chance of surviving is 1 by 10. And that 1 chance depends upon her desire to get better. And that 1 chance also depends greatly on her desire to get better. If only she feels that she would get better, that she would be able to survive. If she feels she is not going to get better, it is very difficult for her to survive. So she must have confidence that she would survive. If not, confidence lost, hope all lost, is very difficult for her to survive. Yes, okay, but your little friend has made up her mind that she is going to die. So your friend has made up her mind, determined that she is going to die. Is she worrying about something? Is there any real problem about her? Why she thinks like that? Has she got a really serious problem? Why does she think in such a way that she is going to die? She wanted to paint a picture of the Bay of Naples someday. Her ambition was to paint the Bay of Naples one day. A masterpiece work. She had an ambition, an aim, a motto, a dream, which never took place, or she was not able to achieve that. No. And that is not something more important. Not something about painting or some work of art or some achievement. Nothing. A man perhaps. Is there a man in her life and she is disappointed in that affair with him, love affair maybe, a failure in love? Is there any such serious reason? So she is so disappointed and she wants to die. Is that the reason why she thinks that she would not survive? So the doctor is thinking that there might be a love failure, disappointment. That's why she is thinking, okay, let me die. Why to survive? Why to live here? The life is a burden for me. She might be thinking like that. Maybe disappointed in life, no hope, no expectation. That might be the reason why she thinks she is going to die. A man perhaps? Is there a man in her life that she thinks about and the affair with him was a failure, that she thinks that she is going to die? No, doctor. She has no such business. We are young girls, we are gentle, we don't have any such business. No, not at all. Well, perhaps it is a result of her fever. Maybe because of the result of her fever. And her general physical weakness. Of course, her body is weak, health is weak. That might be the reason why she thinks she is going to die. But when a patient begins to feel sure that she is going to die, he or she is going to die, when a patient begins to feel that she would die or he would die, I subtract 50% from the power of medicines. That is very difficult for medicine to become effective. That means 50% of chance will be lost, will be gone. If she has no confidence in herself that she would survive, she must have some reason to be alive. She must feel that I would survive whatever happens. Yes. So I subtract 50% from the power of medicines. if you can succeed in making her interested in something, the main reason, main thing that must be there in any patient is that he must be or she must be interested in something. Above all, interested in life. She wants to survive. She wanted to survive. She would need, to survive. Yes. In asking, for instance, about the latest styles in women's clothes, you must ask her what kind of clothes you would like. Do you want to buy this one or that one? She must be interested in life. That's the main thing. Then I can promise to 1 to 5 chance of her instead of 1 to 10. 1 by 10 will become 1 by 5. Yes. So her chance of recovery will become double if we can make her interested in something. Okay. So after the doctor had gone, she went into her own room and cried. See, her only friend in this life is, our Jonesy. And she, as you understood that there is a chance for her to survive, she felt very, very sorry. She went to her own room and cried for a while. Later, trying not to show her sadness, but she was not to show her sadness and disappointment. She went into Jonesy's room whistling. You see, pretending to be happy. You see, whistling means not really whistling. So maybe singing a few lines of a poem or a song, maybe. See, pretending to be happy. See, nothing wrong. She should feel. Our Jonesy should feel. So, in a happy mood, she went there to her room. Jonesy lay under her bed clothes, with her face towards the window. She stopped whistling, thinking Jonesy was asleep. But soon she heard a low sound, several times repeated. Then he heard a sound getting repeated again and again. Sue went quickly to the bedside. What happened? Jonesy's eyes were wide open. Not sleeping. Her eyes were wide open. She was looking out of the window and counting backwards. See, backwards means descending or not ascending. See, she was counting 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. She looked out of the window. What was Jonesy counting? There was only a grey, backyard and a blank wall of the opposite house. There was no reason why she should count anything there. 10, 9, 8. There was nothing to count. Wall is there. Then what? What's that? See? Only a grey backyard and a blank wall was there on the opposite side. An old vine dead at the roots, a very old vine tree was there. Creeping plant, grapes, vine tree. You see? Creeping plant was there, very old one. Dead at the roots, isn't it so? Climbed halfway up the wall. It was climbing halfway up the wall. The cold breath of autumn had blown almost all the leaves. The cold breath of autumn season had flown almost all her leaves. Leaves are falling down every day one by one because it's autumn season. It is snowing every day. Leaves will be coming down, falling down. Yes, from the vine tree until its branches were almost bare. Bare means naked. See, naked branches means no leaves remaining. Leaves all falling down because season of autumn. What's it, dear? Asks you, why are you counting? 6. Now it has become 6. They are falling faster now. The leaves are falling faster now. 3 days ago, there were almost 100. Just 3 days before, there were almost 100 leaves. It makes my head ache to count them. It is very difficult for me to count 100 leaves. 199, 98, 97. Very difficult to count it was at that time, 3 days before. But now it is easy. There goes another one. There are only 5 left now. One more has fallen down. Now only 5 remaining. 5 what, dear? What you are telling? 5, 6, 7, 8? What is this? Tell me. Leaves. Yes, leaves. The leaves of that vine. When the last leaf of the vine falls, I must go too. Or sorry, the last leaf. Yes. When the last leaf falls, I must bid farewell to this world. Actually, the leaves are, the days of is they a symbol of my days or maybe my hours also. See, when the last leaf falls, my hour will come for me to bid farewell to this world. She thinks that, see, her life is somehow connected with the leaves of that wine tree, and she feels that when the last leaf falls, I must bid farewell to this world. You see, where is that? Okay. I have known it that for 3 days. Didn't the doctor tell you? Did the doctor not tell you that my condition is very critical or severe? The doctor didn't say any such thing. No. Who told you that? He did not say anything like that. This is pure foolishness. How foolish you are to think in such a way, said you. What connection have those old leaves with your getting well? How can it be connected? What you are telling, Jonesy? How can it be connected? Leaves falling in your life? How can it be connected? And you used to love that old wine so much once upon a time. You loved the wine tree so much. Please don't be silly. Hi. Don't be silly, Jonesy. The doctor told me this morning that your chance of getting well soon were excellent. He told me that you are going to get well very soon. Now try to take some of your soup and let me get back to work so that I can make money to buy you some good port wine. I would buy you something special, port wine, very costly wine. Yes, let me work. I have some work to do. If only that work is done, I can sell it and get some money so that I can buy something special for you. There is no use buying any more wine. No need. No more wine required. No luxury, nothing required. My time has come to bid farewell to you and to this world. No more wine required, said Jonesy, keeping her eyes fixed on the blank wall of the house opposite. There goes another leaf. Yes, one more leaf has fallen. The leaves just fall. That means only, 4 leaves remaining now. You see, the leaves just fall. I want to see the last one fall before it gets dark. I want to see the last leaf fall before it gets dark. Then I will go too. Then I will also go. I will bid farewell to you all. Jonesy dear, what Jonesy? Will you promise me to keep your eyes closed and not look out of the window until I have finished working? Please close your eyes and stop looking out of the window until I have finished my working. I must deliver these drawings tomorrow. I must give these drawings tomorrow. I need the light. For that, I need the light. Otherwise, I would pull down the curtain. If not, I would have pulled down the curtain. Can't you draw in your room? Said Jonesy coldly. See, her mood also has changed a little. Can't you draw in your room? Why you are here? You go to your room. Her mood also has changed, which means that she is getting prepared to bid farewell to everyone in this world. She is not the sentimental towards her best friend, only relation in this whole world. But she says very coldly, cruelly that you go and sit in your room and work. Why should you be here? I can take care of myself. She's becoming a little cruel also. You go to your room. I would rather stay here with you, said Sue. No. I won't leave you alone. Besides, I don't want you to keep looking at those silly leaves now. Why you are looking out at the silly leaves and counting down one by one and telling you are going to die or what? Chai. Tell me as soon as you have finished. No. Just tell me when you have finished your work, said Jonesy, closing her eyes and lying white and still, because I want to see the last leaf fall. I want to see the last leaf falling. I am tired of waiting. I am tired of waiting. I am tired of thinking also. You see, when my hour would come, when can I bid farewell to this whole world? Try to sleep, said Sue a little later. I must go downstairs for a minute to get Mr. Berman, who is going to sit as my model. I must go downstairs for a while to get one Mr. Berman to sit as my model for painting. See, artists, painters. Okay, so some model should be there for me to sit, and Mr. Berman is coming to sit as a model for my painting. But I will be right back. Soon I will be returning. Don't worry. And don't move on. Also, please promise me. Don't move away. And please promise me not look out of the window. Please promise me that you won't look out of the window. Our story goes on. Old Mr. Berman was a painter who lived on the first floor beneath them. Yes, he was living just beneath first floor. He was more than 60 years old. Old man, more than 60 years of age. Berman was a failure in art. Though he was a painter, though he was an artist, he was a failure in art. He had always wanted to paint a masterpiece. He wanted to paint a super work, a masterpiece. But he had never yet begun to paint it. He would always say, I would paint a masterpiece. For many years he had painted nothing except now and then something in the line of commercial or advertising work. Some advertisement, some ad, he would sit as model, or he would paint some art work. Is it advertisement work? Maybe poster, etc. Okay, he earned little money by serving as a model. Yes, little money he earned by working as model. For those young artists who could not pay the price of a regular model, to pay the price of a model, they have to pay a huge amount. For young artists, newcomers, not experienced ones, so they are not able to, they cannot afford to pay a huge amount for models. So they would call this old man above 60 years of age to sit as their model, okay, for painting. In that way he earned little money. He drank much whiskey. Main business that one. Whatever money he got, he would drink. And when he was drunk, he always talked about the great masterpiece he was going to paint. He would say, I would paint a masterpiece one day. So he would always say, I would paint a masterpiece one day. When he was drunk, he would say in such a way. He was a fierce, intense little man who considered himself as a watchdog, means guardian. Two girls living alone with no one to take care. So he was an old man. He had some soft corner towards his girls, and he considered himself to be the watchdog or guardian of these girls, two girls, and protector for the two young artists living above him, of whom he was very fond. Our Berman was very fond of our Jonesy and Sue, so he considered himself to be the guardian of these two girls. So our characters, Jonesy, Sue, of course doctor is there, not important, but Berman. So Berman is an artist, painter. In a way he did not earn much money. Whatever he got, he would drink, and he had a vision or a dream or an ambition or whatever be, maybe a dream, to paint a masterpiece. Whenever he was drunk, he used to say, I would paint a masterpiece. But the work did not even start even now. Sue found Berman in his poorly lighted studio. Berman was there. Sue went down to meet him. Berman, poorly lighted studio. In the corner of the room stood a blank canvas. In the corner of the room there was a big blank canvas which had been waiting for 25 years to receive the first line of the promised masterpiece. Yes, he would always promise that he would paint a masterpiece, but one line also not painted. So he told him about the strange idea which Jonesy had concerning the last leaf. Sue told Berman that our Jonesy has a strange idea about the last leaf. And Sue said that she feared that Jonesy would really die when the last leaf fell. Sue told him that Jonesy would really die when the last leaf fell. Old Berman shouted, are there people in the world who are foolish enough to die simply because leaves fall from old wine? How can people be so foolish? Are there people in the world so foolish to think that one would die because old leaves fall. Once again, are there people in the world who are foolish enough to die simply because leaves fall from an old vine? Have never heard of such thing. Why do you permit such silly ideas to come into her mind? How can you permit, such silly ideas to come to her mind? Oh, that poor little Miss Jonesy. I pity about the condition of our dear little Jonesy. She is very ill and very weak, explained Sue. And the fever has left her mind full of strange and very strange ideas. Jonesy was sleeping when they both went upstairs. They came to her room, Jonesy's room, and she was sleeping. She pulled down the curtain and motioned to Berman to go into the other room. She pulled down the curtain. As she was sleeping, curtain was pulled down. So that Jonesy won't look through the window out to see the old wine. And show gestures. Let us move to the next room, other room. There they looked out of the window fearfully at the wine. There is a turning point. They looked out of the window towards the old wine tree. And they looked at each other for a moment without speaking. They were shocked to see what they saw there. What they saw there, we are going to see at the end of the story. That's our twist. So they were shocked when they looked out towards the wine tree. A cold rain was falling, mixed with snow. Berman took a seat and prepared himself to pose for Sue as a model. So he sat there as a model for Sue to make her painting. The work was going on. When Sue woke up next morning, she found Jonesy with dull, wide open eyes. She woke up, she found Sue with dull, wide open eyes, looking at the window. Put up the curtain. I want to see. Remove the bling over the curtain. I want to see the wine tree and the number of leaves remaining. Jonesy said quietly. Sue obeyed. But after a heavy rain and a strong wind, one leaf was still hanging on the vine. There was heavy rain. And wind also. Wind and rain was there. During the night, the whole night it was raining. Wind also was there. But still, one leaf is still remaining. Yes, the last leaf is still remaining. Still dark green. Mark that word. Dark green. Green stands for life. And so strong life. Isn't it so? Dark green, not light green. Dark green. Yes, powerful. Isn't it so? So one leaf is still remaining. You see? It hung from the branch some 20 feet above the ground. It was hanging from the branch above almost 20 feet from the ground. It is the last one, said Jonesy. Yes, it is a last leaf. I thought it would surely fall during the night. I was expecting for the leaf to fall during the night because there was a wind and rain. I heard the wind and the rain. It will fall today. Okay, it will fall today. No doubt it will fall today. And I shall die at the same time. Yes, not yesterday, it is today that it will fall, and I am going to die today. Dear Jonesy, said Sue, placing her face close to Jonesy's on the pillow. Think of me if you won't think of yourself. If you won't think of yourself, think of me. You see, if you are not interested in life, think of me. I have nobody in this life. I am alone. You are my only friend. How can you go leaving me alone? I would be something like an orphan if you go away from this life. Think of me. For my sake, think of life and be alive because I have nobody else. Think of me. Then you will be interested in life. Yes, if you are not interested in your own life. You see, what shall I do? Without you, what shall I do? I will be alone, no? The day passed slowly, hours passed by. And even though the growing darkness, through the growing darkness of the evening, they could see the one lone leaf still hanging. Even by evening, the one single leaf was hanging there. From the branch against the wall. And then with the coming of the night, the wind began to blow again. There was heavy wind, snow, rain. and the rain began to fall heavily. There was heavy rain, which means the leaf cannot survive. But next morning, when Johnsy commanded that the curtain be removed again, the leaf was still there. Surprisingly enough, shockingly enough, even on the following day, after heavy rain and wind and all, the leaf was still remaining there. Johnsy lay for a long time looking at it, and then she called to Sue. I have been a bad girl, Sue. How silly I am. She understood that by the falling off leaf would never happen. That means my death also is not going to happen immediately. See, how silly for me to think in such a way. I have been a bad girl, not a good girl I am. You see, I have been a bad girl for many days to think that I would die. Yes, I realized that it was silly for me to think in such a way. I have been a bad girl. Sue, said Johnsy, something has made the last leaf stay there just to show me how bad I was. Some force, some power made the last leaf stay there to teach me a lesson that I have been a bad girl. Otherwise, that leaf would have fallen down. No doubt. No doubt the leaf might have fallen down because there was heavy wind and rain. But it is still hanging there, remaining there to teach me a lesson that I have been a bad girl. It was the sin. It was a sin to want to die. Thinking about death is a sin. Is it not so? Pavamu. Is it not so? Yes. Because life is God given. We have no right to take it away. Okay, now? Yes, it is the will of God when we should die or how long we should live. It is sin to think about death at all. Yes, you may bring me a little soup now. She got her interest in life. Bring me a soup, something, a cup of hot soup. Bring me, please. Let me drink it. And then put some pillows behind me and I will sit up and watch you cook. Put some pillows, behind me, and I will sit up and watch you cooking, preparing some delicious food. An hour later, Johnsy said, Sue, someday I want to paint a picture of the Bay of Naples. Her ambition is not, yet to go on. It is still there. Yes, there should be some hope for someone or anyone to remain in this world. So her ambition is to paint a great artistic work. A picture of the Bay of Naples. So she has become normal to think about the future, to think about her life and her friend's life. So she has come back to normal state. The doctor came in the afternoon. You are doing fine, he said. Okay, you are better. Doing well, doing fine. He said, taking Johnsy's thin hand in his. In another week or so, you will be perfectly well. You improved a lot. You will be okay in 1 week. And now I must go to see another patient downstairs. A new patient is there downstairs. His name is Berman. Now Berman has got pneumonia. A patient is there downstairs. And doctor does not know the relation between Berman and these two girls. A new patient is there downstairs and his name is Berman. He is some kind of an artist, I think he is an artist. Doctor has no acquaintance with him. Pneumonia too, of course, reasons pneumonia, sure. He is an old, weak man. As he is old and weak, it will affect him suddenly, immediately. And the attack is very severe. So, the attack of pneumonia is very severe. You can know it now. Those young people can survive because they have that ability. Their body is so strong. But old man with many complications of health problems, he cannot survive. Okay, there is no hope for him. No hope remaining for him. But I am sending him to hospital in order to make him more comfortable. He may not survive, but I send him to hospital so that even in death he may have a peaceful death. Death is almost certain for him because he won't survive. The next day, Sue came to the bed where Johnsy lay. The doctor tells me that soon you will be perfectly well again. Doctor says that you are going to be okay very soon. Sue said, putting her arm around Johnsy, hugging her, you are going to be okay in few days. Johnsy smiled at her happily. Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful? She continued. But now I have something important to tell you. Old Mr. Berman died in the hospital this morning. Our common friend Berman expired today morning in the hospital. He was sent to the hospital, but he died there. Of pneumonia. He was sick only for 2 days. They found him in his room the morning of the first day, helpless with pain and fever. On the first day itself, he was falling down there on the floor with severe pain and fever. His shoes and clothing were completely wet and icy cold. His clothes and shoes were completely wet and icy cold. They couldn't figure out where he had been on such a terrible night when it was heavily raining. There was wind also, wind and rain was there, heavily beating. Every house, and he was out maybe. That's the reason why he was, cold and wet. And then they found a lantern. A lamp with a handle, lantern, still lighted, not closed, put out, still lighted, a ladder for climbing ladder, and some other things which showed that during the wind and rain, he had climbed up and painted a green leaf on the wall of the house opposite. Yes, that is what really happened. So he climbed halfway over the wall on top of that ladder, and he stood there in the wind and rain, and he painted a green leaf there, his masterpiece. Didn't you think it was strange that the leaf never moved? Didn't you notice that the leaf was not moving? When the wind came, rain came, the leaf was standing there, remaining there with no movement. Wind and snow, okay now. It was strange that the leaf never moved when the wind blew. Ah, darling, it was Berman's real masterpiece. It was Berman's real masterpiece. He was always telling, I would paint a masterpiece, and he painted it. But not on the canvas, but there on the wall. That is the reason why the leaf was not moving. When the wind came, rain came, the leaf was not moving because it was not a real leaf. It was a painting by our old Berman. He painted it there the night that the last leaf fell. He painted it. See, on that night when the last leaf fell. Do you remember when our Sue and Berman came to the room? They found Jonesy sleeping. They went in the next room and removed the curtain and opened the window, and so they were shocked to find that the last leaf had fallen. And on the following morning, when Jonesy wakes up, if Jonesy finds that the leaf has fallen, she won't survive. To save the life of Jonesy, Berman climbed, in that heavy wind and rain, and painted a dark green leaf on the wall. The leaf was standing there without any change, without any movement. See, that strong, dark leaf, always seeing that Jonesy felt that there is some lesson to be learned from that. So the leaf is remaining there, teach me a lesson that I am a bad girl to think that I would die when the last leaf falls. So anyhow, Jonesy survived, but because of standing in that long night with the wind and rain, our Berman got pneumonia. In 2 days, he died. That is the story of last leaf. A very important essay. What is that? Very important essay. Study that. How is Last Leaf by O. Henry a story of hope, friendship, and sacrifice? Yes, it's a story of hope of survival. Friendship of Jonesy and Sue, and also of Berman, and sacrifice of Berman. He sacrificed his life for sake of his best friends, Jonesy and Sue, of course, for Jonesy to survive. It's a story of hope, friendship, and sacrifice, of course. So you have to, when you write the essay, you have to explain how far it is a story of hope, friendship, and sacrifice. Above all, the sacrifice of Berman for the 2 young girls. That's the story, Last Leaf by O. Henry. Thank you for watching. Meet you in the next video. Thank you.